Coming up on the Desert Vision, the Army and Navy team up for training in the Arabian Gulf, and Camp Buehring soldiers boost morale with competition. Hello and welcome to this edition of the Desert Vision. I'm Army Sergeant Heath Graham. Combat aviation soldiers conducted training with sailors and crewmen aboard a Navy destroyer in a unique exercise. The Army performing operations at sea doesn't normally come to mind when talking about our green-suited force. Soldiers from the 36th Combat Aviation Brigade of the Texas Army National Guard trained with the U.S. Navy aboard the USS Ponce during a countermine exercise known as Spartan Copus in the Arabian Gulf.
It's something different, and I think that the younger soldiers that we have out here with us and some of the pilots who have never flown over water are definitely building new capability for the future as we continue to execute in this environment.
The exercise provided an opportunity to integrate Apache helicopters into the defense of mine countermeasure tasks. The Apaches add a quick response asset for the Navy destroyer for better defense against short-range objectives at sea.
You know, having that capability, there's never enough armed helos available for quick response, and having a gunship that's available to quickly enter the fight at sea is invaluable.
This exercise helps to build mission continuity between the services and gives the Army a platform over water to land and refuel aircraft. When hearing the term halo associated with the Army, you typically think of soldiers jumping from aircraft. Army Staff Sergeant Jake Fadley tells us how one unit gives that term a new meaning.
Aboard the United States Army vessel James A. Lew, soldiers with the 371st Sustainment Brigade took part in a unique opportunity to conduct helicopter air medical and logistical operations, or HALO, at sea with Charlie Company 238th Aviation Medevac.
The importance of this is that way myself, the medic, and our aid and litter teams, we train and rehearse in this and practice getting used to it, and it also helps with relaying our communications to the bridge so that they can communicate with higher control, the aviation, and setting up 9-line medevacs.
Soldiers react to different scenarios throughout the ship, forcing them to make quick calls on how to treat the casualty.
First thing that we want to do is assess for hemorrhage, so we look for any life-threatening bleeding. After we do hemorrhage, we check the airway, look, listen, and feel for bilateral equal rise and fall of the chest.
They move the victims by aid and litter teams to the deck, where a helicopter stands by to airlift the casualty up and away to the nearest hospital for care. But it's not without challenges.
I still get the wind that's trying to push me away from the Black Hawk rotors, but on a boat, because it's confined in such an area, it doesn't really dissipate out and is gone. It's constantly there, so I always have to be ready, and I always have to be braced for the constant pressure trying to push me away.
For the 371st Sustainment Brigade, I'm Army Sergeant Jake Fadley, Kuwait Naval Base, Kuwait.
There isn't a large supply of Army riggers within our area of responsibility. Staff Sergeant Jake Fadley takes us to Qatar and shows us a group of riggers with a mission to supply surrounding units.
Soldiers deployed to the front lines within theater rely heavily on supplies to help sustain the fight. And that's precisely what riggers with the 861st Quartermaster Company do every day.
We can rig all classes of supplies, food, water, ammunition, fuel. The big ones here mainly is food and fuel.
These riggers do a lot more than just deliver goods. Their job is to ensure those items arrive safely.
One, you're saving lives as far as with all the IDs out there and things. It's safer to drop something from the air to keep that transportation convoy or whatever to go pick up things.
And it's quick and easy, which is why it takes patience from those tasked with bundling the rigs up for delivery.
I guess it takes a lot of attention to detail and everything, because when you're rigging back home and you're rigging personnel shoots, you have somebody's life in your hands. So you have to pay attention to what you're doing at all times. But over here, it's just making sure that the troops that are out front, on the front lines, get what they need to survive and keep on with the mission.
For the 371st Sustainment Brigade, I'm Army Sergeant Jake Bradley, Cutter.
Soldiers that push supplies on the roads of Afghanistan must remain ever vigilant and prepared. Army Staff Sergeant Peter Sinclair tells us how a platoon of transportation soldiers make paying attention to detail a top priority.
The 51st Transportation Company loads their weapons and checks their gear to stay mission ready throughout the holidays. These soldiers, known as the Lancer Platoon, know the importance of being prepared for whatever they may encounter on the road.
Especially most of the people who's already been out here who already got hit, they pay attention to every single detail. Because it could be one little thing that could be out of line that can cause your life or your battle buddy's life to be injured, and that's because you didn't do your job.
Before each mission, the truck commander physically checks his soldiers' gear to ensure nothing is overlooked. With the holidays here in Afghanistan, the Lancers keep on trucking, knowing what's waiting for them back home.
My motivation is my family, you know, just waiting. They're waiting for us. They're waiting for me as well, like, you know, everybody else.
This group of truck drivers are the muscle movement of Task Force Lifeliner sustainment and retrograde missions in Afghanistan. For Task Force Lifeliner, Bagram Airfield, Afghanistan, I'm Army Staff Sergeant Peter Sinclair.
Active shooter situations are unpredictable and often evolve within 10 to 15 minutes. You need to be prepared to mentally and physically survive. Run. If there's a way to escape, evacuate the premises. Hide. If evacuation is not possible, find a place where the shooter is less likely to find you. Stay calm. Dial 911 and alert law enforcement. Fight. As a last resort, and only when your life is in imminent danger, attempt to disrupt or incapacitate the active shooter. Remember to think like a survivor. Run, hide, and if necessary, don't move! Fight.
Welcome back. Army mechanics at Camp Aviation had the opportunity to work with soldiers from their host nation. Staff Sergeant Jake Bradley shows us how these mechanics welcomed our Kuwaiti partners.
Soldiers with the 539th Transportation Company hosted members of the Kuwait National Guard on Camp Aviation recently as part of an ongoing series of maintenance exercises between both countries.
Not much different, but look like it's much harder. Much harder from our shop.
The U.S. soldiers took the Kuwaitis on a tour of their motor pool, showing them different pieces of equipment and its operation, allowing them a hands-on demonstration.
Well, it's mostly for them to see how we operate as far as a base, transportation company. Maintenance is one of the biggest things, and theirs is too. We went over to their camp, and they actually have a pretty nice setup. But it's just to show them how we deal with stuff. As far as the mechanic side of it. And so far it's going pretty good. I think they're getting it. Some of the things that we do is different from the things that they do. So we're just trying to show them and break that barrier so they can get to know our guys and we get to know them.
This is just an early step to an ongoing mission that builds upon the foundation of military partnership. For the 371st Sustainment Brigade, I'm Army Sergeant Jake Bradley, Camp Aviation, Kuwait.
2 soldiers recently completed their citizenship journey while deployed to Kuwait.
Service to one's country is a motivation for some. Others are motivated for more personal reasons. A few are motivated because they want to become citizens. On a windy day in Kuwait City, Staff Sergeants Alfredo Montero Ramirez and Lester Lopez were able to realize their lifelong goals and become citizens of the United States. Reporting from Camp Aviation, Kuwait, I'm Army Sergeant Brett Perkins.
Both sergeants completed multiple deployments prior to raising their hand and taking the oath in Kuwait. One unit at Camp Buring organized a competition to challenge its troops. Army Sergeant Matt Waymeyer has more.
The 167 Armor Regiment, or Death Dealers, held a series of challenges recently to test their soldiers and give them a day of fun. Each company had a different team for a 5K race, basketball, football, a CrossFit workout, and even a Call of Duty challenge.
It was great to see the soldiers relaxing, especially coming back from platoon leader position. I got to see all my old soldiers come straight out of the field and come and enjoy their time today.
The battalion wanted to foster unit cohesion and esprit de corps, but a little rivalry wasn't discouraged.
It's pretty good so far. I think our other company has a team that's pretty good too. So hopefully we play in a championship game.
HHC ended up winning the overall competition. Army Sergeant Matt Waymeyer, 2nd Armor Brigade Combat Team 4th Infantry Division, Camp Buring, Kuwait.
Camp Buring soldiers also enjoyed a holiday meet and greet from an up-and-coming country music star. Army Sergeant Jared Spinner tells us about the morale-boosting visit.
It's like a parade.
Country music singer Elena Blair and her band visited Camp Buring to entertain the troops this holiday season.
We're out here for you guys. I mean, you put your lives on the line every day for us, so it's the least we could do, and I'm excited to entertain you guys.
167 Armor Regiment showed the band the basics of Army weapons.
And you hear the click? Yeah, that would fire. And then you would just keep doing that over and over.
As well as a glimpse of the Army life here in Kuwait.
When you hear about like just people coming over to the Middle East or soldiers coming over to the Middle East, and you think you kind of have a picture in your head of what's going on, but you don't really know until you come out here and see for yourself. It's very eye-opening, and you just have an even greater appreciation for what you guys do. To come out, we will definitely be here because I mean we've enjoyed just the few days that we've been out here and looking forward to the rest of the tour, and hopefully there'll be more to come.
This is the first time Elena has toured in Kuwait. From the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team 4th Infantry Division, I'm Sergeant Jared Spinner, Camp Buring, Kuwait.
Blair also made stops at Camp Aviation and Camp Patriot on her visit to Kuwait, performing for the soldiers and spreading holiday cheer. Well, that wraps up this edition of the Desert Vision. For these stories and more, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/US Army Central. Thanks for watching.